Let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our second of our new quarterly state member benefit webinars. Today on the call, we have myself, Olivia Fry, the Director of Membership and Partnerships, and my colleague Maya Griffin, who is our Membership and Database Coordinator. We are your membership team. A couple things before we get started. We are recording this, so we'll share this for any of your colleagues who are unable to attend today. That will be available via the NASPO network tomorrow. And this is really geared towards our state members. As you all know, we have different levels and different categories of membership. And our state members are those folks who work in the Central Procurement Office or report in some fashion to the Chief Procurement Officer. So if you are not a state member, if you're an associate member, life member, honorary member, you're welcome to stay and join us. Unfortunately, most of this will not apply to you. So if you'd rather reach out to Maya or myself and we can follow up with you afterwards, we're happy to do that. I will take a moment to please announce if you are not a NASPO member, if you're a partner or someone else who is not an NASPO member, we ask that you please recuse yourself and follow up with us via email. We're happy to have a conversation with you separately. So welcome, everyone. So a couple learning objectives for our conversation today. We really want this to be discussion based. Please feel free to add questions to the chat box and we'll get to them throughout the discussion as well as at the end. So our first learning objective is for you all to meet your membership team. Like I mentioned, my name is Olivia Fry. We have my colleague Maya Griffin on the line as well. You can, of course, reach out to either of us specifically, or if you have membership questions, we have a membership email address, and that is membership@naspa.org. I hope that's easy for you all to remember. But we understand we're going to throw a lot of information out at you today. You hear a lot of information on the regional council calls or on the NASPO network, and typically you don't need that information or that benefit right then and there. It may be several weeks or several months before you need access to that. So if you have a question, comment, need to find where to access something, Maya and I are your first line of defense. So don't hesitate to pick up the phone, give us a call, or shoot us an email. We're always happy to talk with you. This is a great opportunity. These webinars that we'll host on a quarterly basis. We had our first back in October, and we plan to host these on a quarterly basis. So if you attended our last webinar, you will get a lot of the same information, made a couple updates, but it's just a good refresher. This webinar is really the most appropriate for those folks who either are new to the Central Procurement Office or have been around for a while and just getting plugged into NASPO for the first time. So this is a really great overview of the different benefits available to you through your NASPO membership. So that's what we'll do today. We'll identify the different benefits and resources available to you, and we'll discuss additional resources that your team needs in order to be successful. So where do I begin? If you are new to NASPO or it's been a while and you don't know where to begin, the NASPO.org website is a great first line of defense. Of course, Maya and I are always here for you as well. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hope you all can see this. This is the NASPO.org website. This is our main page. You'll see our rotating banners across the top, which have different publications or resources. These change on a pretty regular basis. You'll see here, this is our PPE video, the State Pandemic Procurement Excellence video that we shared at our annual conference. We have our COVID-19 procurement resources, which I'll click on that so you all can see. I'll talk about COVID resources in more in depth here on the next slide, but this is a good place to start these COVID resources. The COVID resources that are listed here on the NASPO.org website are public facing. You'll see here on the right-hand column, different partner resources. We've worked with many different partners over the last year, NASCA, NGA, the FBI, FEMA, and others. So as they've shared resources with us, we have linked them here. So this page is public facing. You're welcome to share this with other folks in your agency or other agencies within the state, but these are public facing. I want to just quickly go through some of the drop-down options. We have our Procurement U option, which are all of our online courses. We'll talk a little bit more about them later on. Our Research and Innovation tab, which hosts all of our toolkits, guides, our publications, our blog, and different webinars. We have our state CPO staff and supplier dropdown, which one thing that's really interesting on this, if you're looking for staff or the CPO for any state, we do have this interactive map. So I'll go ahead and click on Idaho. You all can see Valerie here. NASPO awards, we do have the 2 annual awards that we give away, the George Cronin Award for Procurement Excellence and the Julio Mazzone Distinguished Service Award. Those are updated every year. And then our news, events, and jobs tab. This future events tab, I'll click on this for you all to see. Typically, this is much more full and robust. Unfortunately, due to COVID, many of our events have been and will continue to be virtual for the near future. But you'll see here upcoming events. So upcoming events, we have the Value Point Contract Leads Conference, which will be February 9th to the 11th. You'll see our NASPO Exchange Conference, which again is virtual, April 13th through 15th. And then our annual conference. Our conference and events team plans many, many months in advance. So you'll see here the 2021 annual conference, which we hope we'll be able to travel to Texas. That is still to be determined. And then for 2022 annual conference in San Diego. And then of course the Who We Are tab. A little bit of history about NASPO. You can find our leadership, which includes our board of directors, our different committees, and our NASPO staff. And then here under our membership tab are different types of membership. So that's a little bit about our NASPO.org website. I want to go back to our slide deck here and talk about our COVID resources. So I mentioned the COVID resources that we have that are on the NASPO.org website. And those are resources that are public facing. We do have a little bit more of a robust COVID resource page. I think everyone's probably sick of hearing about COVID, but I do want to share this with you all because this is a really helpful resource page. So this is linked to the NASPO network, and when we get to the NASPO network, I'll show you how to access this. But this is a great compilation that we began back in March or April of 2020. It includes lessons learned, supplier vetting resources, market research resources, contract resources, emergency declarations, telework resources, and then we have a monthly, it used to be weekly, and now is a monthly COVID directors call, and we put the notes from that COVID call here as well. On the right-hand column, you'll see resources that we really want to draw your attention to. For example, FBI COVID resources, FEMA PPE information, lots of different resources for you all here. So that's a really important one. So back to the NASPO network. Our NASPO network, for those of you who have not been logged in, is an online communication collaboration platform. So that, to me, I think is one of the biggest resources that a NASPO member of any category receives. So let me show that page. I will go ahead and bring that up. Slowly. All right. So this is what the NASPO network looks like when you log in. If you have not been in the NASPO network, do not think you have access to the NASPO network, please email membership@naspo.org. Again, that's membership@naspo.org. And Maya can either reset your password for you or get you signed up if you are not currently signed up. So by clicking this box here in the home page, that's where you'll find that list of resources that I just mentioned for COVID. A couple key components of the NASPO network that I want to draw your attention to. Of course, the first are communities. So the first, if you click on the All Members group, everyone has access to the All Members group. So that's NASPO members, associate members, life members, honorary members, student members, staff. This is where you're going to get the most broad audience for your question. So for example, we have here Ellen from Illinois posed a question yesterday about minority participation elements. So if you have a question and you really want to open up to the broader procurement community across the country, this is a great opportunity. Pretty self-explanatory, really simple to post. It's almost like a Facebook or an online discussion board that you've probably used before. Really easy to reply, and it works just like that. Again, if you need access to this, please let Maya or myself know, and we're happy to get you access. Another tab I want to draw your attention to is the member directory. What's really cool, I'll use Ellen as an example. Maybe you were on a call and you heard from someone who had a really great idea or is working on an RFP that you need some information about. You know, it was Ellen, you think it was from Illinois, but you can't remember. You can just type in just first name, just last name, state, and if you click find members, you'll see everyone here. So that pops up with Ellen's contact information. Again, maybe you're like, oh, it's from Illinois, but I can't remember who that person was. If you type in just the state, you'll get a whole list and the roster of all the NASPO members who are with that state. So it's a great resource. I know I use it on a pretty regular basis myself. Also under directory, we have our organizational chart. This is a great one if you're curious about our staff breakdown. You can go ahead and click and you'll see here how our staff works and who all is on our team and the roles that we all play, which is kind of interesting. And then the other key component here that I want to draw your attention to is the resource tab. This one is huge. So we'll talk, of course, more about the benefits as we go here. But I do want to draw your attention to a couple items here. The first is the NASPO benefits guide. So if you click on that and click download, you'll see this NASPO benefits guide. This is updated on an annual basis, and it really is a good first place to start when it comes to NASPO member benefits. If you are curious about what benefits are available to you, this is a really robust, kind of all in one place option for you all to look. Also under resources is our reimbursements tab. That's another really critical one. Arguably one of our most beneficial NASPO benefits, I would say, are the different funds that your state has availability of, and the different reimbursement resources, the policies, the guidelines, all live on this page. We'll talk about those more in just a few. Go back to our PowerPoint here. So speaking of those funds, there are 3 different NASPO funds that your state has access to as a NASPO member. The first and probably most popular are the professional development funds. These numbers may change slightly. The NASPO Board of Directors approves the allotment for each state at the beginning of the year. So that will be approved the first week of February. So these funds may fluctuate somewhat. Professional development funds are really important to NASPO as an organization. We really value professional development of our procurement staff across the country. We understand that many times public procurement professionals do not have access to professional development. And even when you do, when budgets are tight or budgets are cut, typically that is one of the first things to go. So we definitely support professional development for you and your teams and want to offer these funds to you all on an annual basis to provide different training, certification, leadership, things like that. So again, that number may fluctuate slightly. Keep an eye on the NASPO network in February to find out. But there is, due to the pandemic and many states' inability to use resources and these different funds in 2020, the board did approve a rollover of some of those funds to the end of March. So the amount for each state is a little bit higher in 2021. Some of those funds expire that are rolled over at the end of March. And the good thing about that is if you put in a reimbursement for professional development, you don't have to worry about which pot it's coming from, the rollover funds, the 2021 funds. Our finance team will take care of all of that in the back end for you. So don't worry about that at all. We also have our Value Point Cooperative Education Fund. This is great for marketing materials for maybe an in-state cooperative conference or to help other agencies understand more about your in-state cooperatives or about Value Point contracts as well. And then the newest fund that we have is the Technology Asset Improvement Fund, and that became available in early 2020 as an answer to many states having to work remotely very quickly because of the pandemic and not having the technology to support that. We heard many states staff were using personal laptops and different equipment to do their jobs from home. And we were very, very pleased that many of you were able to use these funds to purchase laptops, phones, different technology, webcams, things like that. So we're very, very pleased to be able to offer that fund again in 2021. This is that member benefits guide that I mentioned, and it does live in the NASPO network. And then our regional council. So many NASPO members tell us, how can I get more involved? How can I learn more about NASPO? How can I get to know the membership more, get more plugged into what's going on a regular basis? And the regional councils are a great way to do just that. You'll see here the map split up into 4 regions. We have the Western region, the Midwestern region, the Eastern region, and the Southern region. So you can see which region your state is part of. And we have regional councils that meet on a monthly basis. Each regional council has a chair and a vice chair who are elected by the regional council. And those folks were announced in a press release just the other day. So we're very pleased to have new leaders for each of the 4 regional councils. That is a call that any state member is eligible to attend. So we begin the call with talking about regional issues. May that be COVID or, for example, maybe the Midwest is going to talk about a snowplow contract, but the South probably wouldn't have that conversation, right? So it's really an opportunity to talk about regional issues. And then we hear from NASPO staff about updates, Value Point staff about contracts that are expiring or new contracts, need for sourcing team members or lead states, things like that. So regional councils, again, any state member is eligible to attend. We like to have more than 1 representative from each state if possible, because we do vote on approving the minutes every month from the previous month's call. And we need a quorum of the states to do that. So we do like to have more than 1 representative from each state on each of those calls. If you'd like to join the regional council calls, please email membership@naspo.org and we'll get you signed up and get you on the calendar request as well. Next, I want to mention our publications. So our research team does a great job of putting out many, many resources throughout the year. This is just a list of a few. Emergency Preparedness Guide is one that came out last year that talks about different disasters. It's not pandemic specific, but it does have some good resources in there. A mentorship toolkit. We have heard from many of you over the last several years that mentorship programs either non-existent in your state or you'd really like to create a mentorship program, or a small handful of you all have great, robust, really successful mentorship programs. So we've taken some of the lessons learned from you all. The newest piece of research or publication that we are excited to share with you all is our COVID research project. That is coming soon. We have a handful of really impressive academic partners from universities across the country that we've worked with to do qualitative interviews with many of you, CPOs and procurement staff across the country. Lessons learned about what went well, what was effective, what was efficient when it came to procuring PPE and other COVID-related resources. So thank you to anyone on the call here today who took part in those interviews. We're really excited to share some of that. We hope that some preliminary information will be coming in the first quarter of 2021 that we can share with everyone. All of these resources listed here, except for the COVID research that is still underway, can be found on the NASPO.org website under the publication tab. So you all have heard enough from me. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Maya to talk about a few of our other resources.
Thanks, Olivia. Welcome everybody again. NASPO has released the 3rd edition of its flagship publication, State and Local Government Procurement, a Practical Guide. This guide is an indispensable reference tool for both new and experienced government procurement professionals. The new edition features IT procurement, sustainable purchasing, and the use of e-procurement systems. It also includes an expanded narratives on procurement planning, source selection methods, evaluation of bids and proposals, quality assurance, and contract management. This is such a great resource for staff training opportunities, and some of our different academic partners have used it as a textbook. Lastly, I wanted to mention that the guide is available as an ebook through Amazon, Apple eBooks, and Kobo. Procurement Pulse is NASPO's blog and podcast that monitors emerging public procurement issues, and it also shares diverse opinions on a broad range of topics from procurement professionals, strategic partners, and industry leaders. The podcast and blog posts do come out on a regular basis, so if you have any ideas for blog posts or podcasts, please feel free to send them in to researchteam@naspo.org.
I can make a quick plug for the podcast, Maya, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
We were really fortunate in 2020, despite all of the craziness of COVID that threw at all of us, to have some really interesting COVID-related podcast episodes with some of our partners, like the National Governors Association, the FBI, and some others. So if you have 20 minutes, if you're in the car, I urge you to take a look and download those. They're just some really interesting episodes. Thanks, Maya.
NASPO provides state members with access to the government contracting market intelligence solution known as GovWin. I won't get into the full description since you can see it on the screen, but it's really a great tool for connecting with peers and other government organizations, dealing with common issues and challenges in the government contracting. And then Procurement IQ is a leading online resource for procurement research and services. This free benefit to NASPO members provides hundreds of reports, and just to name a few, industry price trends, key RFP elements, market characteristics, and more. And I do want to note that there is a webinar tomorrow at 3 p.m. EST that will go more in depth and explain the features and functions of Procurement IQ and how to use it as the conduct market research for your needs. And then please let us know if you would like login information for either GovWin or Procurement IQ, and we will get you set up.
Great, thank you, Maya. I do want to mention, Maya did say that these are free resources. These are free resources to you all as NASPO members. These are not free to the public. NASPO does pay a subscription fee on an annual basis for both of these. So if these kind of sparked some interest or you're not utilizing these resources currently, please reach out to us. They're really, several states, I think we looked at their report the other day, 30 plus states use these on a regular basis, are pretty strong users of both platforms. And I think there are about 18 who are not using these or not using them very often. They're great resources. Don't recreate the wheel. They include different price benchmarks, market trends, forecasting, different negotiation questions that you can utilize for your own work in your office. So please let us know if we can help you get plugged in to utilize these resources. Moving on to our internship program. I know that several of you on the call here today have been part of our internship program in the past. We do have our internship toolkit available on the website as well. So our internship program is a partnership with our 7 academic partners across the country. And we work with these different academic partners and their supply chain management students to place interns in your state procurement offices during the summer months. Unfortunately, this past summer, only one state was able to pivot quickly and turn it into a virtual internship. So we were unable to do the full program this past summer, but we've had 3 successful summers of this program, so far, and we look forward to many of you participating hopefully this summer. So again, those are partnerships with our different academic partners. We help you all choose students from their supply chain management programs to work in your procurement offices during the summer months. They are paid internship programs. NASPO provides that funding. And we do have Dan Kruger on our staff, who is our academic affairs manager. If you are maybe really geographically close to a college or university in your area that is not an academic partner, they're unfortunately not eligible to participate in our internship program, but Dan does a great job of helping you connect to those different universities and colleges to create that relationship, see what kind of collaboration you can do together, anything from training to interns. Dan does a really nice job of that. So please let us know if we can help you with that. I do want to highlight our Procurement U courses, and we are very excited that our Procurement U courses went through a very rigorous process with IACET as an accreditation body, and that was just completed several months back. So our Procurement U courses are now accredited through that accrediting body. That process, the way it works is we have a couple courses that we used and created using their model that kind of passed the test. And we'll spend the next several months getting all of our courses through that process to make them all accredited. So Procurement U overall is accredited. Each course as they currently stand is not. There are slight tweaks and updates need to be made, but those will be made over the next several months by our Procurement U team. This is not a comprehensive list. There are several other courses that are not listed here. And you can find that on the NASPO.org website by the Procurement U dropdown. But there are 2 new courses that have been released over the last month, and those are highlighted here in yellow. The Essential Elements of Work-Life Balance, which I know all of us working remotely probably could use some help with, and then the new Ethical Procurement Strategies. So those are 2 brand new courses. The price is the same for everyone across the board. If you're a NASPO member, if you're not a NASPO member. So these are great opportunities for you to share some Procurement U courses with different agencies to help them get up to speed on public procurement. So again, the 2 newest courses are Work-Life Balance and Ethical Procurement Strategies. I do want to talk about professional certification for just a few moments. NASPO recognizes the UPPCC, the Universal Public Procurement Certification Council, it is quite a mouthful, as the gold standard in terms of public procurement certification. The UPPCC has 2 certification options: the Certified Public Procurement Buyer, CPPB, and the Certified Public Procurement Officer, CPPO. I know that several of you on this call here today hold one or both of those certifications, so that's really wonderful, and we support that. Procurement U does, in addition to the courses listed and several other courses, host prep courses every year for these 2 exams. The prep course for the spring of this year begins March 1st, and registration closes February 15th. So if that's something that you're working towards and you want to take the prep course, we encourage you to do so and sign up. Like I mentioned, we are long-term partners and co-founders of this organization. We have over 190 certified NASPO members, and we just got new data several days ago, so that number has increased. And in 2019 alone, 2020 data still working on that, but in 2019 alone, we offered over 185 potential contact hours. So contact hours are necessary to sit for the different exams. Contact hours come in the form of in-person training, online training, Procurement U courses, NASPO conferences. So we're very, very pleased that that number was about the same in 2020, even though many of our events were forced to be online. So again, those prep courses are offered on an annual basis. We have them in the spring and the fall, and those fall in line with those exam dates. The course itself is 12 contact hours, so it's not just to help you prepare yourself. It really does have a good number of contact hours that goes towards sitting for the exam. We've had over 200 course participants since the launch of these prep courses in 2016, and we are very, very proud of those pass rates for both the CPPO and CPPB. 88% who take the CPPO prep course pass, and 72% who take the CPPB prep course pass the exam on the first try. These are well above the average for those who take either no prep course or a different prep course. So here is a photo of your membership team, Maya and myself, here at our NASPO headquarters in Lexington. I'll go ahead and open it up for questions about specific benefits, or if that's just a lot for you to handle and we throw a lot of information out at you. If there is any additional information that you're looking for that we may have as a resource, or maybe NASPO does not currently provide, but you'd like us to look into, we're happy to do that. So I don't know if you're able to unmute yourselves. Feel free to do so if you would like to, or go ahead and type in the chat box. we have Omar here from our research team. Omar, is everyone able to unmute themselves, or how can they ask questions?
You can ask questions by either putting them in the Q&A box at the bottom. At the bottom of your screen, you should see a box that says Q&A. You should be able to type in questions there, and we should be receiving them if you have any questions.
Omar, I don't see any questions that have come through. Do you see any questions?
I do not.
You have to click at the bottom that says Q&A, the box.
Okay, so no questions so far. Are there any questions
Yeah.
from the group? Thank you. Great. Well, again, Maya and my email addresses are here for you all to reach out to us directly. Of course, you're always able to give us a call as well. And then we also have that membership@naspa.org website, email address that you can send that'll come to Maya and I both. We look forward to hopefully seeing you all soon. We appreciate you joining us today. We will share the recording via the NASPA network tomorrow. And don't ever hesitate to reach out if there are any questions or maybe resources that you're looking for. We're always happy to help you find it if we don't have it handy. So with that, I wish you all a good rest of your afternoon, and we will hope to see you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.